let's begin with Jaden Ivey leading the way. Travion Williams already with a double-double, and Purdue, Rob Dauster, will stay perfect, barring a miracle comeback. The Boilermakers have commanded a Keegan Murray-less Iowa Hawkeyes team tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest question that remains right now is whether or not they're going to cover the 12.5 that Bet Rivers had at tip-off. I'll tell you what I did, fans. I pulled a move straight out of your book, okay? I get the tweet, right? I get the tweet from Andy Katz, who says, breaking news right now from Mackey Arena. This was like probably about 75 minutes before tip-off. Breaking news from Mackey Arena. Keegan Murray is not warming up. Keegan Murray averages 25 points a game. Keegan Murray is Iowa's best player. I already thought that this was a bad matchup for Iowa. Now their best player is not playing. The guy that's putting up Luka Garza numbers. So you know what I do, Fanta? I rush to my Bet Rivers app as quick as I possibly can, and I put in a bet. I double what I had on it. So what we really need right now is a Purdue cover. That 3 right there is going to help. Go ahead.
Ashton, what do you think it is that makes Purdue a team that can win the national championship?
Well, you talk about a deadly combo, not only on the perimeter, but underneath as well with Travion Williams and Zach Edey. I think those guys, along with Jaden Ivey, I mean, he's probably the best playmaker in college basketball right now. This guy, his first step is really quick. He can create a play whenever he wants. And that's what you need moving forward, especially deep into the NCAA tournament. You want guys that can create for themselves and create for others at will.
Here's one thing I think about with Purdue. I keep hearing people say, well, Gonzaga and Duke, by virtue of being younger, they have a higher amount of potential. Like Purdue's touching that right now. They're touching their ceiling, and that's a very good one. They're going to make the Final Four, but people keep bringing up the fact that they think Gonzaga and Duke can reach a higher height. Here's the fact of the matter. I disagree with that take because I don't sit here and say Purdue is peaking too early, or Purdue has multiple ways that they can beat you. They have 2 trees on the interior. We've talked about that. But what I love about this Purdue team is that on any given night, they have a guy who can hit 4 threes for them, who could even hit 5 3-pointers for them. When they're hitting perimeter shots, the game is over. You're not beating them. And they don't rely on 1 or 2 guys to get that done for them. So they have the mix of veteran shooting. They have the mix of 2 big guys who have a different variable to their games. And they have an NBA draft lottery pick, Rob. I don't like the take that the Purdue Boilermakers, have there's not a higher ceiling that they can expand upon as the season goes on. I disagree with that idea. And I think Matt Painter would say, we got to still get better defensively. We have things that we still can work on. Yeah,
I mean, that's where it is, right? So are they going to be able to guard the way that you need to be able to guard to win a national title and to make it to a Final Four? I'm a little bit concerned. We've seen a lot of turnovers tonight, right? They have 14 turnovers, which is not ideal when you're going up against a team like Iowa, who's not known for their defense. Like, this is not a team that people will sit there and say, yes, they're going to force turnovers. Yes, they're going to make you have a hard time running offense. Yes, they're going to make Trevion Williams throw the ball out of bounds 4 or 5 times in this game. So there's certainly ways that they can improve. But I'll also tell you this, and Ashton, I'm curious your take on this. I don't think they need to improve to win a national title. I think that they're good enough right now to go out and win a national title. It's twofold, right? It's the fact that they have multiple ways to beat you. But the bigger thing is that all of these guys all buy into this idea. I think Trevion Williams, and I've made this point over and over and over again, I think he's the best teammate in college basketball, the single best teammate. This is a guy that was preseason All Big Ten. This was a guy that got votes as a preseason All-American. And he's out here right now coming off the bench, and he's fine with it. He's the biggest cheerleader they have. He's the loudest voice on that bench whenever he is on the bench. He's the loudest presence on that court whenever he is on the court. And when your senior is sacrificing the year it's supposed to be his year, that's just there's nothing that can match that, right? There's just nothing possible that can kind of match that impact that has on a roster. So I'm all in on the Boilermakers. I said this. Vince, you can attest to this. I told you and T.O. on our podcast that I thought Purdue was the best team in the country before Duke and Gonzaga played. So I'm in on the Boilers. I love this group.
I actually agree with you, Rob. This group, I think the biggest thing that really helps them is just the pedigree of Matt Painter. He's been through it. He just built a culture there at Purdue. And you could tell guys like Travion Williams, like you said, have bought into it. So they play selfless. They really gap up defensively. They play really hard. And then, like you said, they have a dynamic scorer who can score at will. And you need that going into conference play and if you're going to make a run ultimately in the NCAA tournament.
I'll tell you this about Jaden Ivey. He is the most entertaining basketball player to watch in transition of anybody that I can remember. I can't remember anyone that is like him when he gets the ball in his hands in transition. He's a blur, man. Like we were talking about it earlier, Ashton. Like it's like 3 dribbles from the opposite foul line and he's taking a layup. It's insane.
He's almost as college basketball as Jay Morant in terms of how fast he can get down the court. And just make plays not only for himself, but for others as well. He can shoot the ball. And then he just brings an energy. He brings a toughness to their team. He brings a confidence and a swagger to their team that I think, really separates them from, other teams around the country.
Yeah, you know what I think it is? Purdue gets so much of so many of their shots and so many of their points directly out of the offense that Matt Painter wants to run. Right, it's directly out of their sets. It's all right. We're gonna have this dribble handoff leading to this double down screen, leading to this guy running off of a triple screen on the baseline, and we're gonna try to get our threes here. We're gonna run this so we can get a seal and a lob for Zach Edey in this spot, or Trevion Williams is gonna post up here and try to look for this kick out. Right, so much of it is designed out of what they do. There are teams that can take you out of what you want to do offensively if you play defense a certain kind of way. Right. And the teams that do that, whether it's like Duke does it, Florida State does it, it's switching, it's the overplaying the passing lanes. When that happens, you need guys that can just go out and win a one-on-one matchup, right? Jaden Ivey is that guy. And they got other, like Zach Edey could throw the ball to the post. If he's sealed deep enough, just give him the rock in the post. He's going to make a move. Trevion Williams, same thing. But Jaden Ivey he's that difference maker, I think. There's not very many teams that have a guy that can do the things that he can do. And by the way, it's down to 7. This is not good. This is not good.
Hey, you know what? Let's put some respect on Fran McCaffrey's name for a moment, because what he's done with this Iowa group, Iowa was an afterthought heading into this season, as was Iowa State. They're going to meet on Thursday night next week. That is now a big-time matchup. Always is, but I think now national recognition, there's going to be more of it than we expected. I give Fran a lot of credit. I never question his coaching, but I question the personnel heading into this season. And he's just found a way, the way that they run offense. And then I actually think that this team's defended better than I would have thought. So as you said, it's down to 7. Here's one thing I want to bring up, though, Ashton, because you alluded to it, and I want to get a former player's perspective here. You said that Trevion Williams, the level of sacrifice, being a teammate, the buy-in, the fact there, and you said it's a result of Matt Painter. But take us inside a locker room. I'm sure you've been in a locker room in great moments, and I'm sure you've been in a locker room and maybe a teammate and another teammate are at odds. What does it take for those 15 guys to collectively be like, I don't care what my role is, we care about a W?
I think it comes down to accountability. I think the best teams are the player-driven teams that hold themselves accountable. And then you add in a big-time coach, i.e. Matt Painter. And, he's been through it. He's been through the ringer, X and O guru. He can really gap up. He knows how to play defense. His teams are really tough. They make good decisions. So ultimately it comes down to being player-driven, holding, each other accountable. One thing that we did when I was at Pitt is we really spent time together off the court. And I think that only helps with the chemistry when you get on the court.
Yeah, you got to be able to bond. You got to be able to get along through that grind. And I think that this team does, by the way. It's a 5-point game here with less than 4 to go. And you take a look at what Iowa's been able to do. I mean, Patrick McCaffrey's been very good in this game. And they've actually had a nice night from Tony Perkins. 5 of 10 from the field. He's played pretty well. You get a couple of contributions off the bench. And Chris Murray with 9 points. This is all without Keegan Murray. I guess, Rob Dolster, let's talk briefly here for a moment. The Hawkeyes, compared to what you thought they'd be heading into this season to what you're seeing here tonight, what should people feel like at Carver Hawkeye Arena this season?
I mean, I would feel really good about this group. I think that their defensive performance today has been really impressive. I thought that Purdue was going to run away with this thing. I didn't think that they'd be able to hang in it. They've been forcing turnovers. There have been 2 or 3 times where it felt like Purdue hit them with a knockout punch, and they came fighting back.
Yeah.
The one thing about this group, like, they don't have any size inside, but there's more length and athleticism up and down this roster than any Fran McCaffrey team that I can remember since he got to Iowa. Keegan Murray's not out there, but that dude's a freak, right? His brother Chris, really long and athletic. Joe Toussaint he brings something different offensively than I think most Purdue teams are expected to have. Patrick McCaffrey, he's long and athletic and lanky as well. Tony Perkins, the kid that you were just talking about, I thought he was really, really impressive in the first half. Some of the plays that he was making defensively, the pressures that he was providing, they've been really, really good and really impressive. They just forced another 10-second call right here. The fight that they're showing on the defensive end of the floor is something that we haven't seen out of this Iowa basketball program in a long time. And if they can do that, they got dudes that can score and they got dudes that can put up points.
Well,
they get enough stops.
So my tweet, I quoted you and said, I think Purdue is good enough right now to win a national title. Jerry Palm has quote tweeted it with "not tonight."
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
What is this down to right now?
70. Purdue's up 70-65 with 3 minutes and 12 seconds left. I'm not that worried. The cover's probably out of the question, which, you know.
So what did Jerry Palm? Did Jerry Palm just put you into a bag?
Yeah, I think he did.
That's okay. I'm inside a hot dog costume based on what happened today.
Yeah, you are. Ashton, I don't know if you know about that. We bet on whether or not Maryland would ever be ranked in the top 13 this season, and it's down to 2, by the way. And John Fanta said that he thought Maryland would be ranked in the top 13 in college basketball this year. That's not going to happen, obviously. The loser had to wear a hot dog costume on a show. So
really,
yeah, we're going to try to hedge it. So we're going to figure out a way to sort of.
There's no hedging. It's not going to get hedged.
What if, what if I don't know. What if I outline
based off of what's happening with this Purdue game right now? I might allow you to buy your way out of it. That might be.
Hold on. Wait. What if I play you 1-on-1 to start Final Four week in New Orleans? Dan Mahalik will line it up, and we play 1-on-1. See who wins.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can.
Wait. Ashton with Goodman officiating.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not only do it.
See, that's like Stone Cold to Vince McMahon versus Undertaker or something.
No. Yeah. No. It's not gonna. It'd be a completely fraudulent competition.
Okay. Let's move on here. We're at 11:14. We'll see what happens here at the end of Iowa Purdue.